And welcome to Impact 2023, our continuing conversation where we talk about all different topics, current events, where we talk about what's going on just in your personal area, your region, your county, your whatever. We just talk about what's going on, whether it be here in the United States, throughout the world, and all over. And we talk about it from different perspectives, from a Christian perspective. And so, as always, we thank you for joining us, and we also ask that you type in your comments and your questions. It's the comment and question section so that you can be a part of the conversation and we can continue it on. As always, we just hop right into our discussion. And so this week, like no other, we're going to be careful with the words that we say and the things that we say. Everybody knows what's going on in the world. There's Palestine, there's Israel. There's what's going on with the bombings. That's going on with the terrorist acts. That's going on with everything that's going on. And unless you live under a rock, you know exactly what's going on. And so we're just going to have some questions about that, but not specific to the topic, but kind of around about. And so we have a guest, and our guest will bring you on here. Steve, how's it going?
Going good. What's happening?
Nothing much. So here's you've seen what's been going on. I know that people around have been talking about it. Here's the question. Should we be paying attention to what's going on in another country? Israel is very far away. I've never been. I don't know if you've been. It is extremely far from here. Should we really be paying attention to what's going on in other countries? Is that important for us? If you think it isn't, please tell me why. If you think it is, tell me why, when people talk about being global citizens, do we need to be paying attention to what's going on all the way over there?
Well, yes and no. I think, it gets real confusing when you get into the deep politics of it and you mix in the history.
Mm-hmm.
For as long as I know, Palestine and Israel have been fighting forever.
Mm-hmm.
Since you and I have been alive, we just Middle East is usually them popping off.
Right.
And I don't know the internal politics of it, but we have been an ally with Israel for quite a while, forever, I believe. And I, you can go back to the Ukraine thing. We all know that, sometimes some countries don't have what we have and they need assistance. And I understand that. I really do. And I think we should help where we can. But the problem I have with all of that is that, number one, we still have people sleeping on our streets here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
We have hatred running amok in this country. We have an extremely low educational system in this country. Everything has been put on the back burner, but our defense. Like the military has so much because you got to be ready for something popping off. But at the same time, our country is for years has been kind of rotting on the inside. And one could actually make the argument that it's been rotten since its founding, because of what has been done to the indigenous people of this country, what has been done to African Americans, and so on and so forth. But I do, I don't like bullies. I don't like people bombing other people. Especially, I saw a video. One of my line brothers, my number 7 is an ER surgeon. He's just a doctor. Like he's the doctor's doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. He's always in the motherland doing some kind of outreach and helping out there with his medical skills. And he made a post today saying that I wish I could be over there to help. And he was talking about Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It was an extremely disturbing video I saw. Of course, it was a hospital, ER, with every second it was people bringing in people that have been extremely injured. And the most devastating part of that, it was kids.
Yeah.
And, like Hamas or Israel, Palestine, whoever you want to say, they started the attack. And then, of course, Israel's not going to just sit still. So they attack back. And one thing my mom always said, the only thing guaranteed in war is death.
Yeah.
So it's like you have innocence, literally innocence, man. Those stretchers, man, with kids, it was not for the faint of heart to see. And I'm a teacher, so I see kids like that age all the time. I'm talking to them and mentoring them. And what I saw was extremely disturbing. It was heartbreaking. And when they shoot those bombs, when those buildings come down, when they're shooting those bullets don't have names. I'm going to get the terrorists. Okay, that bomb that you're aiming for a terrorist, but you just killed 25 people and 15 of them were tender age children. So I don't know, man. And of course, your dad Rev always says, I'll never forget this. We're in youth meeting, man. Get real, get right, get ready. Like we are living in Revelations right now. We got wars, we got rumors of wars, we got the earthquakes, we got the fires, we got hate. We got literally brother turning on brother. And it's disturbing. I always say it, I want to be gone in heaven when this starts popping off. I don't want to be around. No, sir, Jack.
Right.
Look at where we are. And I'm starting to ramble, but this has been happening forever though. And the technology we have, the sources that we have now, we're just seeing it we're seeing it live, literally.
Right.
We couldn't see all this stuff live, when we were, 10 years old. We had to watch NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw to see it, but now we can turn on the TV and watch live footage of carnage.
Right. Or you get it on your phone or anything like that. You made some great points. First, to on the side point, you made an excellent point. We all need to just have appreciation for doctors and ER people because they've always put themselves in harm's way, whether it be in war zones, whether it be ER, whether you just, it'll be a gang fight or something like that. And they're running out there to go save people and the gang fight's still going on. So we always need to give appreciation to those people. They do some amazing work. But you made some great points, especially, paying attention to what's going on in the world. There can be some good stuff and some bad stuff. For example, the earthquake that you mentioned, the one that they had in Afghanistan. If you're not paying attention, then you're not going to know that over 1,000 people died there, and that we can send them some aid, some assistance. So on the good side, you're paying attention and you're able to help. On the bad side, if you're not paying attention, you're not able to help. But then there's also the trap. And I see people getting into this trap, and I don't know if you've seen people. Last week we talked about revenge. But what will happen sometimes is that you get so involved, now you hate Palestinians, or now you hate Israelis. And so if you weren't paying attention, ignorance is bliss, then you wouldn't be going down this slippery slope of being somebody who's now filled with anger, who's now filled with hate. Or on the opposite side, if you weren't paying attention, you won't be that person that's now sitting at home sad and distressed at what's going on. So then I go back to it. When we were young, you would hear an old dude say, "A little boy, mind your business." Is there something to that as the U.S., as us? Should we just be minding our business? Because sometimes, it can take you down that trap. You don't need to be walking around mad all day.
Yeah, and in a lot of respects, we should mind our business. But at the same time, we're so hardcore Israel. But at the same time, in retaliation, Israel is bombing and killing kids too. Over in Palestine. So I don't think we should, necessarily say, we're supporting Israel and you're supporting war. My thing is, I'm like a hippie in this sense, man. Like, hey man, let's just get in the middle and say, hey y'all, both of y'all chill out. Let's talk. Let's talk it out. And if they're terrorists, okay, let's handle them. But I mean, I think it's a better way. It's a better way. Literally bombs, bow, bow, bow. Okay, you know, all the people that they're aiming for aren't dying. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, we want to support our allies. That's great. But can we support life? Can we support peace? You know, and just handle. I mean, we have enough intelligence in this country, in the world, where we can figure out if we just use those resources the right way, when, where, how. Who did this? Who set this up? Who's the leaders here? Boom, boom, boom. Because those 5-year-olds, those 3-year-olds, those women and children that were just chilling didn't do this. You know, they're not walking in Israel with AKAs. I mean, AK-47s, talking about pow, 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 pow. Right. You know, they're chilling. They're being kids, but they're the ones suffering. Families. I mean, the saddest story, the saddest video is a dad, you know, trying to bring his kid back to life, patting his back, like he's gone. He's gone. But who? I mean, I don't know anybody that's had grief like that live. I mean, you're in the middle of a war and you don't believe your kid's dead, but they're sitting in your lap dead. Like, that's unfathomable. Like, I can't fathom that. You know? So I'm all about peace, man. I mean, you know, we're Christians. We're Christ followers. We read the word. So I'm just right there. Like, hey, there's a better way, and it's not killing each other, wiping each other off the map.
Right. All right, we got a comment. The issue with the majority of Americans is they have no clue of the history of that area that Israel occupies. They were given the land that they occupied in the 40s. Also, other than the Holocaust, most people know very little about Jewish history.
Accurate.
Yeah. You know, most people don't even know what Palestine was. Also, we should support peace. We support humanity. We support life. So I'll ask you, you know, kind of what we talked about last week, and I'll give a kind of like a little self thing. You know, I like you. I know the word. I know what God says. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I know how that is. But I know for me, who I am, revenge is a difficult thing. Now, luckily, I haven't been in a bunch of situations where I needed to get revenge. But if the time came where I felt like I needed it, it definitely would be a struggle. It's like a phobia, you know, where you're scared of snakes or something like that. You know, reasonably, you shouldn't be scared if a snake came around, but when the time comes around, it's just something inside of you that, you know, physically makes you scared. So I know that I'm not supposed to seek out vengeance, but if the time came, you know, I don't know, you know. And so the question then becomes, you know, because that's the problem. At the end of the day, we can talk peace and we can talk everything. But when revenge is on your mind, and that's both sides. At the end of the day, when revenge is on their side and revenge is on your mind, you can't get past the peace until you get past the revenge. I know, you know, we're not psychologists or psychiatrists or any of the ists out there, but what's the, you know, because we have that same issue here. When it comes to revenge, what can we do to kind of soften the blow, to kind of help people not want to get into that zone of revenge? Like, is there anything we can do that you feel like that get us closer? Because we know what the word says.
Yeah.
How do you get there?
Yeah, I mean, everybody. Yeah, if you don't practice it, you don't practice peace and how to have that Zen thing, like Usa. I mean, you know, like it's like the Star Wars reference. You know, fear, vengeance, hate, all that leads to the dark side. So you have to put yourself in practice to, you know, not do that, but at the same time, you know, to go into. I love using Star Wars references all the time. You got Anakin Skywalker, the greatest Jedi warrior, a man that's fighting for peace for the galaxy, fell into that, and he became one of the most iconic villains of all time. And the thing is, some people just get, succumb to that anger and rage and that revenge, and it's hard to get out of it. Some people just fall into it, and you can't stop that all the time, because if you don't put it into practice and you don't see it, you don't hear somebody giving it to you, and you don't, have the mentors and the family and the spirituality to, practice that, you fall into it. And sometimes you have all that and you still fall into it. But there's always redemption. There's always redemption. But the thing is, with this situation, why, we're going to lose so many lives before that happens. And we already lost enough. I mean, one's too many. One of those kids that I saw, that was too many.
Yeah.
And, but it's, that's just the way of the world. We've just been like that since Adam and Eve ate the apple. We've fallen in sin. We have that free will, so we can do what we want in terms of our revenge and how we act on it. But it's always consequences. And what I'm afraid of is the consequences for this continuing, going to WW3. With that always makes me, okay, we see the clips and the documentaries on WW1 and WW2, but I'm like, man, I don't want to see a WW3 in my lifetime. But you got this side, you got that side, you got Russia over there, you got China over here, you got Europe over here. So it's one of those situations where we just got to stay prayed up, but at the same time, we have to educate ourselves so we know what's going on. And, I don't know how we can help, but, it's real confusing. It's real confusing. So I don't have the answers.
Well, now look, this is how you know we boys, because we talked about Star Wars last week. Like, that's what it is. It is going to the dark side. It is. And not that we want to get all nerdy on some old Star Wars stuff, but one of the things that's said there, and it is symbolic of what is also said in the Bible, is, it's love leads to hate, like the physical attachments. And that's one of the reasons that they say that in Star Wars, like the fact that, family and love and having a girlfriend or a boyfriend and all that kind of stuff, those relationships can lead to hate. And it's true. You can't love too hard. It was a pastor that said that one time, one of the sermons that I heard, he was like, you can't love too hard. And the Bible says it too. You don't need to love the things of the world, even the people of the world, but so hard. Because then that's going to turn you to hate if something goes wrong. Leave the majority of your love for the Lord. But if you love too hard on the things of the world, the people of the world, everything like that, that's going to turn you to hate. That's almost an impossible thing to ask somebody to do. But you did make a point, and you might as well make a T-shirt out of that thing. You said practice peace. And I think that's the only thing that we can do. I think that was so, that was just so spot on. Just practice peace. If you can do that in your daily life, then when and if, and hopefully it never does, a situation comes up where you really need to, pull on all of that peace, you've practiced it so much that it'll work out.
Yeah, and you know what? Going back to that love thing, man. I learned Dr. Miles Monroe, man, brilliant pastor that's no longer with us. He broke down the different types of love. You got the friendship love, you got the erotic love, you got the all these different type of loves, but the biggest one, the one that is of God, is agape. That's God's love. That's like the holy. It's like, you can't do any wrong and I still love you love. So those other loves, the brotherly love, the romantic love, which is eros, I think, and filio and all this stuff, those are the things that you get attached to. Like, you get attached to a girlfriend, you get it, because of lust and all this stuff. And then you got bros, and, bros can do you wrong, and you can get mad at them, and you got material things. So I think that's where a lot of things go wrong. And people don't think about that agape. Like, Jesus is literally agape. Like, you did this, it was deplorable, but there's still love there. So it's like that kind of love is the love that can't be broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your girl breaks your heart, and you're angry and you hate her.
Mm-hmm.
That's not agape. Your girl breaks your heart and you pray for her and you say, I love her anyway. I'm going to do what I can to break, you know, to get over it. That's agape. Like, you know, there's no room for hate in agape love. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, it's hard. It's a hard practice. It's a hard practice. But what we have to do is, well, I don't know what we can do.
Yeah. No,
Again,
I think you hit it. Just you got to practice it. You got to practice.
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You got to practice. You know, love. You got to concentrate more on what love is the most important.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we used to say, you know, God, family, friend. Like you
Yeah.
gotta put your stuff in order. And I think sometimes we get out of order, and that's why we can get into that revenge thing. Comment. People need to accept the fact that there are consequences for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Often those actions and consequences don't just impact you, they impact the people around you. Or vengeance impacts more than just our enemies. It impacts the people who are in relationships with us and our enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. What you do is you pull everybody in. You know how it is. If one of your friends go out here and they get into a fight and everybody's around, or you're around with your friend, you have to, or you feel like you have to support your friend and have their back. And so now you don't pull me into a fight I ain't know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people done went down on that kind of craziness?
Yeah. A lot of people locked up behind bars because of that.
Right. You know, at the end of the day, life is a team sport. And so if you care about your friends and your family, you gotta sometimes, and maybe that's the thing to put on people too. You can't go for revenge because it's gonna hurt your people.
Find it out. And that's exactly what's happening. All these innocents are getting hurt and dying because of vengeance and because of hate and because of all that. And it's not fair, but that's our world, and that's what makes it sad. And that's why I think, you know, as Pastor Watkins would say, get real, get right, get ready, because ain't no telling. No telling when we're gonna hear that horn, you know. And what we need to do is get ourselves in order so we can hear the horn.
Yeah.
But you know, it's scary stuff though. It's scary because you know, we're in here, you know, we have our lives, we over here lavish, you know, we got all this stuff, and that is so, you know, we can't imagine what these families are going through over there. And it's like, you know, eventually it's like, man, and I have in my head, eventually, is that going to come over here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. Like, I know we have this and we got all these defenses and everything, but I mean, you got people that get radicalized in these situations. You got kids, you know, let's say, you know, one of those kids that got, you know, that were killed, and they have a brother, they have a sister, they have a mother, they have a father. They get radicalized, and all they do is like, oh, somebody got to pay for this. Yeah. And they're trying to make, and they're going to make their point. And how they make their point can be, I mean, this creates monsters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that is generally the fear, because people want to bring you in. Mm-hmm. They'll do what they need to do to bring you into the pain.
Yeah,
and you're right. That's how world wars happen. They bring up countries in.
And there's always somebody in the background like, yeah,
you
got them right where I want them. And it's like those are the villains.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because they say, you know, one of the things they say about war, and this is very true. And this is no knock against older people being in leadership, but they say what war is old men sending young men to die. And that's what happens. You got these older people, these leaders of these countries, you know, they've lived a good life. And now they're sending 20-year-olds to die. They're sending these little babies and these little kids to get bombed and die for their decisions. Mm-hmm. So you done lived your whole life and you're just killing off as many young people as you can. Like that's what war always is. It's the old generals, the old presidents, the old leaders, the old dictators. They old.
Yeah.
And we sending our young people to die. And we, you know, because those decisions are coming down to the people our age. Our peers, you know, are starting to be in higher up leadership places. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna send our kids to die. So it's a shame, because that's what we forget what it means. You know, we value life less, I think, as we get older sometimes.
Oh yeah, and you know, these cats like, hey, my people ain't out there, but they let them do the hard work. Yeah. My grandkids are right here with me. My kids are right here with me, but let them go do it.
Mm-hmm.
It is hurtful. You know, the powerful and the rich, they're the ones that don't have all the consequences, if you will, of such things.
Right. Right. That's true. We'll go pivot real quick. We're just a couple of minutes left. I just need to get your thought on this. Oh, hold on. We got a comment real quick. The Jewish faith still embraces an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. What you end up with is two one-eye people. As Christians, we are encouraged to love our enemies and to pray for them, despite fully use you. It's very difficult to do, but we're required to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just Jesus coming in and saying, "Hey, man, we're gonna do this different."
Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what you're saying. That we got to practice it, man. We got to practice it. It's tough. That's a tough.
It is very tough.
All right, well, I'm gonna pivot a little bit. We've talked about this a long time ago. There's been an ongoing thing. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because what has gone on is that Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, for everybody who knows, y'all all know, so I don't have to explain it. She's selling a book and she's going out here. She's telling the world that, you know what, they've been divorced or separated since 2016. And you know, the slap of Chris Rock, and she's talking about all of this stuff. But there's been some comments from some black men who have said, you know, as much as we talk about protecting black women, we need to protect black men as well. Because Will Smith, it appears that he's being embarrassed, he's being dragged through the media, like that his wife, former wife, whatever she is not at all protecting him. Because she wants to put all her business out there. So she's hurting him. She's hurt his career. She's hurt his relationships. She's hurting him. There is a popular, there's a popular saying of, black men need to protect black women. Do we need to now start focusing in and reminding people that black women need to protect black men? Like, how do you feel about that situation? How do you feel about it? Like, we're men. Will Smith is a black man. He should just be able to take it. Or is it something like we should be protecting our black men from being?
No. Like, we're not in, we're not in Will Smith's shoes, and he has some big shoes. Like, he's always been the fun guy. He's been the funny guy. He's been the it guy. Everybody loves him or has loved him, and we did. I mean, you know how we were down for the Fresh Prince at all times.
Right.
And it's basically he got the good guy. He was the good guy that got with the not so good girl. And it seems, I don't know, but it seems as though Jada's been perpetrating a fraud all this time. And she's never, I mean, if you look at it, Jada Pinkett has always been a B-list actress. She's never been an A-list at all. But she married an A-list, which kind of bumped her up. When the company you keep, right? So it's, she's behaving like they're not together. And it seems from the outside, Will still has emotions and feelings there. And that's why the slap happened. He's just trying to keep up this facade like we're going to be okay. I don't know. But we do. I mean, in situations like that, you don't know who to side with. But at the same time, man, like, hey, man, my our homie, the big homie's getting dragged bad, man. And Jada's not making herself look good at all.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sad because that was the relationship. Everybody's like, I mean, J. Cole had a rhyme. I need that Will and Jada Smith love, something like that. like for the last 20 plus years. Like, man, Will and Jada, they over, boy, nobody got a chance. I'm telling you. But okay, I guess nobody got a chance because we see publicly what's going on. And we see how we see how their kids have been grown up and they about 2 sheets in the wind at all times. So it's one of those situations where it's like, man, yeah, I'm team Will Smith on this one. And I love how he's not really talking and he's not saying anything. But yeah, it's not cool, man. And we need to protect our women but we need to be in a situation where those are our women to protect. Like it clearly looks like Jada's not his woman anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully he has some good friends and family around him that can rally around him, because that's, you can't stop somebody from just talking.
Exactly.
And she wanted Tupac. That's a shame of it. You're gonna sit back and you're gonna tell the world that your true love is somebody who's gonna pass away. Yeah,
she wanted Tupac, and Will Smith ain't a Tupac type dude. So she looked for that thug life and she got getting jiggy with it. I mean, for real. Like if that, and if you look at it, man, like you just married him because of his status. Yeah. That's what it looks like. I don't know.
Very good point. That is a very good point, because
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Outside of Set It Off, that might have been one of her biggest moves. Girl Trip. Outside of those things, you're not really an A-list.
No, she was on Matrix.
She was on Matrix, yeah. But you're right. It looks like somebody who, you're already rich, but you're just trying to get more fame. Like you need to stay out there in front, and so you will take down whoever in order to keep you out in front. And unfortunately, I think that's a result of just our culture right now. Everybody got to talk all the time.
Yeah.
About their personal business.
That's not. Nah. If you don't know it, you're not supposed to know it. That's how I'm. I mean, hey, how you doing? Great. And I stop. Like, you don't need to know anything else about me.
Like, man, let me tell you that my wife such and such. Like, no, I don't need to know that. Oh.
Like my social media, I always post funny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I post, like, we just had homecoming last week, homecoming pics, funny stuff, Bible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say, everybody, I just want you to know that at 7:00 today, I lost all that I had in the thunderstorm, and then the thunderstorm, the cat came, and in the thunderstorm, I had some tuna fish that I was going to eat because the refrigerator was empty. The cat ate the tuna fish, so I'm hungry. I had no tuna fish. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know I'm divorced now. Come on, man. Hey, man. All right, cool. All right, no. This was not why social media came into existence.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what happened. People want people to know their business and they want attention.
That's what it is. Well, look, we're at our time. Look, if there is our two main takeaways. One, you need to practice peace, and two, you ain't got to put all your business out there in the street. So, I think those are the conclusions that we came to. If somebody wanted to wrap up and summarize what went on today, Steve, I appreciate you coming out here. I know, especially this Israeli-Palestinian situation is a tough topic, and how we deal with things is a tough topic. But I appreciate you bringing in your insight. To everyone, remember, we are here on Tuesdays at 8, Thursdays at 7. We have Thursday Bible study, and then of course on Sundays, same place on Facebook and YouTube. You can join us for service. You see the or join us in person if you're in the area. And as always, we'll be back here again next week. Steve, I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everybody who's showed up and all the comments. Thank you.
Don't disturb the people.